The following segment is sponsored by Smith Injury Law and 300hurt.com.
As many of us are changing the way we do business, Smith Injury Law is also adapting to still be able to serve clients. Richard Smith joins us this morning. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning. You're still working from the office, I see, but you've got some staff working from their homes. You're observing the CDC guidelines, but you can still do anything for a client that you did before, right?
Absolutely. We are signing up clients online. We have a program called Sign Now, which you can sign the contract and documents that way. We also obviously are talking to clients on the telephone, explain their what all we do for them that way. So we can talk to people by telephone and also by email, and also they can sign up online.
Well, for people who don't know you, tell us a little bit about Smith Injury Law. Tell us a little bit about your areas of practice.
Well, we have automobile accident cases in South Carolina and North Carolina, workers' compensation cases in both states, and also Social Security disability claims as well.
Now, the circumstances of this pandemic open up a lot of legal questions we never really considered before. The big one we're focusing on today is, what is someone whose employer is still doing business? What if someone doesn't feel safe or doesn't feel comfortable working? What are their options?
Well, the first thing I'd recommend is calling your HR department and talking to them and find out what options you do have. Some of the stimulus money that's been passed goes to smaller businesses if they keep their employees employed, but it doesn't mean they have to keep all employees employed. There's a lot of different variants there. So the first thing I do is talk to my boss, talk to the HR department, find out what type of programs that they do have. I know a lot of people are being furloughed. A furloughed employee, a lot of times they will pay for your health insurance benefits while you're on furlough, which is different than being terminated or just laid off. So just talk with your employer. They will work with you on most of these issues, I would think.
Absolutely. And employers have a legal obligation to make sure their employees are provided with protective equipment, right? Is there a standard on that?
Well, basically, it's more of a moral obligation than a legal one. I mean, you're limited to workers' comp benefits if you get, let's say you get the virus and you were to be permanently injured from that, then you have to prove that you got the virus while working, which is a very difficult thing to do. You basically are going to be limited to mostly healthcare workers who have been known to be working with patients before you're going to be able to claim an occupational disease. It's very difficult on a law. Our statutes were not written for this type of pandemic. So basically, unless you can prove that your job was to take care of people who had the virus, it's going to be very difficult to prove that you obtained the virus from work.
Gotcha. I know next time you join us, we're going to go in depth and talk a little bit more about workers' comp during this pandemic. If you're on the job, you get COVID-19 and exposure is an occupational hazard, you could file workers' comp, but like you're saying, it's a pretty tough situation to be able to prove.
Very difficult. You're going to probably be limited to people who are actually treating COVID-19 patients. And then even that, you're going to be a difficult case to prove because of those factors.
So we'll get into that next time. But what else comes to mind? You've heard from people who say, I'm not comfortable working, and there's a lot of a dilemma for a lot of people.
Yes, it's very hard because, like I said, usually your smaller companies, they've got some special incentives now to keep you employed because of the stimulus package that was passed. If you're a larger company, you may have options like unpaid leave or a furlough. It's going to be very difficult for people at this time because there is no program that says you cannot be fired or laid off during the pandemic. In fact, a lot of people are getting laid off because there's just no work available, especially in the restaurant industry, and a lot of the stores have been forced to close. So it's going to be very difficult. Your main thing is keep talking to your employer. Check all the available resources. The governor's website's very important, and also keep following the news and watching, Channel 21 to find out what your best benefits are.
Absolutely. Well, these unprecedented times certainly are bringing up unprecedented legal questions. Anything else on your plate or things that people are asking you that maybe we'll focus on in a future segment?
Just remember, if you get involved in a car accident or you're hurt on the job during this time, we are here for you. All you have to do is call us at 300HURT or go to our website, 300hurt.com. We are here available at all times by telephone, by email. We're still working. We are practicing the CDC guidelines, though. We are not seeing clients in the office. We are doing it by telephone, by email. Obviously, if there's no other way but to meet with the client, we can do so. We'll wear a mask. We'll stay 6 feet away. We'll do all of the proper things. But the main thing right now is to understand that we're here for you. Do not try to handle this on your own. If you're in a car accident, if you're hurt on the job, you still need legal representation, and we're still here for you to help you.
Absolutely. Important message to get across. No matter what your quarantine status, you can still get in touch with Richard Smith of Smith Injury Law by calling 300-HURT or visit 300hurt.com. And if you have any legal questions for Richard Smith to take on in a future segment, please email me those questions, margaret.burnquist@foxcarolina.com. Richard Smith of Smith Injury Law, thanks so much for being here. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you. See you soon, hopefully.